My name is Karri Liikkanen. I'm chairman of the board at Helsinki Think Company, which is the entrepreneurship society of University of Helsinki. Okay, so that's what we do. We bring people's ideas together, and wait, this has this auto function on, and we try to make them into a business. So, Renate asked me to talk about social entrepreneurship within the framework of Helsinki Think Company. So as I said, we are entrepreneurship society of University of Helsinki. What does that mean? It is entrepreneurship societies are within all the universities in Finland. Every university has one, and also many of the polytechnics and universities of applied sciences have them. And they are basically student movements to empower students and researchers into bringing their academic knowledge into action. So, in other words, to start companies, to make business. And when we discussed with Renate, like what should I emphasize here, is that is the impact. Because for us, and we also, like you mentioned how in Estonia, maybe social entrepreneurship is defined a little bit differently than in, for example, in Latvia. So for us, impact is sort of written into the entrepreneurship society of University of Helsinki, because University of Helsinki is the biggest university in Finland. We have 35,000 students and some 10,000 researchers or something like that. And those kind of people tend to have the mindset that they want to make the world a better place. And when those kind of people want to start a business, they kind of often, the business has something to do with making the world a better place. And when we talk about impact, we usually mean this: to have positive impact on the society and the world. And how we work, we have, we are most of all, we are a community. We also talked about community here, like you mentioned about Denmark. It's kind of the same thing, like when I ask you a question about the rural areas, how can they function, is if they are communal. And the same thing with all kinds of associations, and when people come together and do stuff together, it's usually going to be better than when people are forced to do something. So, for example, I'm chairman of the board at Helsinki Think Company. I'm not paid for that. It's a position of responsibility. Nobody's paying me to be here. Of course, Renate was kind enough to buy me the plane tickets, but I'm not getting paid from the Helsinki Think Company because it is an association. It is a community. So, and I'm happy to like sort of be promoting what Helsinki Think Company does. And within the University of Helsinki, as I said, there's 35,000 students, and with 4 campuses. So currently we are located at 3 of them. And we started here. So this is also a big point when it comes to social entrepreneurship, because the center campus of the University of Helsinki is social sciences, humanities. I studied philosophy. So there's actually like many philosophy students in Think Company, which is like, okay, philosophy is doing business? What's that? Like, but it's possible. And I also want to sort of be an example myself, because I'm an entrepreneur myself. I have my own production company. Okay, that's not a social entrepreneurship, but it's still some kind of entrepreneurship. So I try to stay focused on the social aspect. And then we have Viikki, which is like bioeconomy, biology, and forestry, a big business sector in Finland, and Meilahti, which is the medical sciences campus. And we are very happy to have those guys on board. So mindset, that's, I think, important for every one of us. Already talked with you guys about that. How Piotr mentioned that in post-Soviet countries, people tend to have the mindset that if there's a problem, let's go to the government. And in the UK, maybe let's try to solve it ourselves. And maybe after that we go to the government. In Finland, we are not post-Soviet country, but we're sort of in between. You know, we were like, if West is white and East is red, we are pink, like your shirt. So, and it was like very big factor how Finland got so rich during the Cold War, because we could sell our exports to Soviet Union because it was politically okay for them to buy our stuff. So, and we were still like Western enough to sort of have access to the knowledge that comes from there, and we can like build our business on that. So we were in an extremely privileged position, and that's how we built the welfare state. But now, as we know, world has become global. No more Soviet Union to buy our stuff. So, and Russia doesn't want to buy our stuff right now too much. So, like, we don't have so much export. So money is not coming into Finland. So we need to have the change of mindset. That's very important. That is the main reason why Think Company exists, is to change the mindset of students and researchers so they can think positively about entrepreneurship. Because when we started 2013, if you even mentioned the word entrepreneur at the university, people would like instantly be like, what the hell is he talking about? That's something evil. Like, we are like quite left-wing in Finland, and especially at the university. So, and I love this. This is Finnish law of universities, and it states that universities should have three main goals: free research, and provide education based on that research, and to educate students to serve their country and humanity. It's kind of vague, but in my point, in my point of view, if students are to serve humanity and their country, they should know something else than only research, and that's where we come in. So how we started, 2013, as I said, it was a joint collaboration between the City of Helsinki and the University of Helsinki. And we are currently still funded 50-50 by those two partners. And this might be interesting for you guys. You might want to Google this and check it out how it works. This is City of Helsinki. Newco Helsinki, you can find it in Google or send me email and ask more details. That is sort of the City of Helsinki's incubation or / accelerator for new businesses. I also went there when I started my business. They provide free counseling for all kinds of business, also for social entrepreneurship. And so City of Helsinki sort of like pushed the very old academic, 400 years old academic institution of University of Helsinki to start something new. Of course, like maybe you read about it or you know from your countries, we all have the same thing, that public funding is quite scarce, and we are used to that. We have a lot of public money. Not anymore. And so it's University of Helsinki just got their funding cut by like tens of millions of euros or something like that. So they need to lay off a lot of people, and everybody's sort of angry and afraid. So this is initiative to help that situation. I just put the Regional Council of Helsinki and Uusimaa here because they've been also funneling EU money for us. Of course, EU has all kinds of projects that can benefit social entrepreneurship programs. So within the Helsinki Think Company, we have the association, which I am chairman of the board. And then we also have company, which is responsible to our main partners, City of Helsinki and University of Helsinki. So they have an action plan created together by these 3 partners, and then they have to fulfill the action plan, so the funding will continue. So there's like this, it's not only carrots, it's also the stick. So you have to do something. And I think it's good to have incentives. Like it's not only, like we discussed with you that like if you just like pour money to, for example, rural areas to keep them inhabited, it's probably not going to work. But if people like work themselves, it increases the possibility. So we are a student-driven organization funded by City of Helsinki and University of Helsinki, but we also like constantly applying for partnerships with companies, and we organize all kinds of events that it's easy for companies to get involved. For example, I'll show those in a little bit. So this is our roadmap, just quickly, and you can see the main focus is here: student and researcher entrepreneurship and change of mindset. So once more, the change of mindset is that not anymore that, oh my God, entrepreneurship bad, but more of, hey, it's one way to change the world into a better place. Because I have to keep in mind, why did the Nordic countries become so wealthy? Because of entrepreneurs. Isn't that true? It's not because of the state, it's because of the entrepreneurs that like started making business and getting a lot of revenue from that. So, but that's maybe too detailed for this context. So how do we do it? These are the key activities, and I'm going to focus on events in a little bit. But just to mention quickly how it's done. We have 3 co-working spaces. So anybody can come. If you visit Helsinki, you can just come to our venues and bring your laptops and work there, or meet people and hang out. And it's open access. Anybody can come. And this is one thing that the company part of Think Company does, that they facilitate the spaces. We have hosts who get paid to be there and tell people what Think Company is. And we host events. We host our own events. Last year, and also events by others. Last year we had, I think, 350 events. That's huge. And the number is so big because anybody can have their event in our venue. For example, we had like social entrepreneurship event there this spring, and I was there learning actually first time what social entrepreneurship means. But of course, because I come from the university, so I already was thinking that business should also make world a better place. So that wasn't anything new to me. But that's the leftist University of Helsinki. If you go to the, for example, Aalto University, which is another university in the Helsinki area, they are more into business. Business, make money. And money is not bad, but if you can also make world better, that's even better. So our key events are these 3. We have mini challenges, boot camps, and then we have 4 union. And what is similar to all of these 3 is that we pool students together. So we gather students, we put them in teams, and then we give them problems to solve. The problem can come from a company if we can sort of sell the idea that a company comes and presents a problem, and then the student groups try to come up with solutions. And those cases, usually, the company pays us some money for the facilitating. And then, of course, they get, like, it's huge benefit for the company because they can also get fresh ideas for their business. And it's like sort of double-edged sword, because I don't want to like give free workforce for the companies like too much, because then they would be just exploiting our students. So the students also have to benefit from that. So maybe they form teams and they start their own business. And I will talk more about that in a little bit. So these are 2-day, mini challenges are 2-day intensive workshops. Boot camps are 1 month, and for uni is 2 months. But all have the same basic idea that you bring students together, put them into teams, and interdisciplinary teams. So we can have one mathematician, for example, 5 minutes, one philosopher. Nobody is philosophers, so maybe one engineer, and it could be anything. Like, sort of, you can think of business. It doesn't have to be that you need to have, like, it doesn't have to be so hard in a sense. You can also make business with sort of like soft skills and softer values. It's not impossible. And this is just an example of what we just had. We had mini challenge with educational technology, and then this was super cool. This in Finnish, I apologize. So we had bioeconomy boot camp, and they were like the teams that came from that boot camp, like so diverse. Like some were like planning to have like a funding platform for businesses in India, and one team was selling bees to apple farmers, because bees like are very important to the growth of crops, which I didn't know. Like, it can be very diverse. And then for uni is our biggest event coming this fall. So this means, Yksilö means that you apply as an individual, and then you're putting in the teams, and then you solve problems. And these are just some examples, but I picked out these. These are, well, Knoppi is not yet, but all these 3 are already companies that are sort of working on the social entrepreneurship field. Avanto Helsinki, they started from Think Company, and their business idea and their business model is to help companies and organizations to be more efficient. So they can bring their knowledge from, let's say, or studies of anthropology, for example, to the company culture, which is really, really, really cool and something new. Like, maybe that wasn't thought about so much before, but even these like softer sciences like anthropology or history can be put into use to make the companies more efficient. That's really awesome, I think. And Oppimo, that's running, like Avanto was bought by another company, so that's the first exit that a team from Think Company has done. So that's pretty cool. And Oppimo is a peer learning, co-working project that students from different disciplines come together and teach each other something. For example, if I studied philosophy, I can teach something from there to other students, and then somebody who studied marketing can come there and teach us something about marketing, etc., etc. But it's also not restricted to only the disciplines. It can be like any other skill they learned. So sharing is an important concept. And Dipla, this is something really, really cool. And it's like because we have a new law, we just passed a new law that every company that has more than 30 employees has to have a plan for equal rights at their work. 1 minute. So Dipla is creating a platform that they can help companies to easily do that and collaborate with their workforce. So that's like a business based on new law. That's kind of cool. And Knoppi is creating a app for peer learning, kind of like Oppimo, but with a different angle. So I have 1 minute left, so I just, okay, this is, okay, I can quickly show a few pictures. This is just an example, the collaboration between municipalities and us. Right here we have, this is from a huge grand opening event of Health Capital Helsinki, which is City of Helsinki initiative to make the area, Helsinki area, a healthy ecosystem for businesses in health technology. And here we have the mayor of Helsinki, We have the rector of University of Helsinki, the vice rector of Aalto University, the CEO of Hospital District of Helsinki and Uusimaa, and the dean of Faculty of Medicine from University of Helsinki. And the picture is like you can't really see, but I'm there like asking them questions. So they all wanted to be involved in this. Like the municipality is very, very happy to be involved. So that's just a quick example of that. Actually, I'm running out of time, so maybe we can just have some questions if you guys have any.